Okay. Hi, good afternoon, and welcome everyone to another session by Salesforce Admin Group Gorakhpur. And I'll not take much time for this thing. Talking about myself, my name is Ankit Verma. I'm a third year student currently at Triple MUT Gorakhpur. I have two certifications, one Copilot certification. I love to record, keep, and share my knowledge via Salesforce Big Thumb. I have been a trailhead or trailblazer mentee multiple times, and I call myself a Salesforce enthusiast. And there are some social links if you want to follow me. And today's speaker is Aman Tiwari. He has not only been my mentor but also a big brother to me. That's why I call him Bhaiya. I got to meet him at Mule Rimmon, and all I can say about him that he is one of the most pure souls I have ever met. Very kind, very helpful every time, and he has tons of experience to share. So let's try to dig in as much we can in this session. And with that, I welcome Aman Bhaiya. Over to you now.
Thank you so much, Ankit, for such a sweet introduction, and it really means a lot. So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining this on weekends. Because we all have our plans on weekends, but yeah, out of all the RSVPs that has been done, I can see few numbers are turning up. This clearly shows that how much you are dedicated to make your career in Salesforce, and I'll try my best that I don't let you down with your expectations. I don't let you down with the expectation that you are holding. So, with that said, first of all, thank you so much to Salesforce Gorakhpur community, and especially Ankit for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge with you all. And we are going to, we are going to cover up a very unique topic. Many people talk about making a career in Salesforce, but no one talk about how to make a career as a developer. Because in India, if I say the job market of India, whatever the job market of Salesforce is there in India, 95% or 92% of the job market is for Salesforce developers. The reason is very simple and sweet. India is known for outsourcing because we get all the projects, all the things from Western countries like US, UK, Germany, and all that things, and we are good at logic building. That's what many of the countries have accepted that. So that's the reason Ankit came up with this idea, and even I liked it. And then we thought of why not deliver a session on this. So with that said, first things first, there is always a way to give back. I have been giving back to the community, and I don't want to mention that time and again. But there is always a way you can give back to the speaker and the host who is hosting this particular session. And how can you do it? Just don't forget to post anything that you learn from this session on the social media, that is LinkedIn or Twitter, and make sure you tag and follow our beloved host Ankit Verma and me. So that will be a kind of a token of giving back to us of all the efforts that we are making. Obviously, you are making efforts to coming on weekends and heading it out, but at the same time, we also make an effort. Cool. So, a short introduction about me. My name is Aman Anil Tiwari, and this is my achievement. I can say whatever I've achieved within the short span of time. I never talk about my anecdotes or achievement because that are the materialistic thing. But yeah, nowadays that have been a trend to talk about your achievement. So what I think as an achievement is like this first line is talk about my achievement. I am a philanthropist. I like helping people. Philanthropist means sharing out what you have, and that's what I have a knowledge. And I love to help people to, to make the things easy in their life. And basically, I know Salesforce a lot, so I talk about anything related to Salesforce to help them make a career better in Salesforce. I'm a nomadic trailblazer. Why? Because I love to travel and I have been traveling across India. Almost I have covered 22 to 23 states. Five more states are pending. Don't know when I'll cover it, but I'm trying my best. And I'm planning to come up with some initiatives. I am on a mission to be a nomadic trailblazer. Apart from this, coming to my professional journey, I'm a founder. I'm a founder of Mule Rimmon, which is one of the unique event across the world, which hosted last year and this year as well. It is going to host for both the Salesforce as well as MuleSoft community. I'm a developer by profession, content creator by passion, professional trainer again by a passion, and a mentor. I won't talk about all these platforms much. Mule Ramin is all you know. Panther Schools, where you will find all my blogs. I write blogs for Panther Schools. Again, I do it as a token of love for my guru, Amit Singh. I think previously he had delivered a session on, like previous session was delivered by him. I
Yes.
have been, yeah, I have been also a volunteer for Automation Champion, one of Automation Dreamin, not Automation Champion. There I have been a volunteer, and that's all I want to don't want to talk about because it can be a controversial. And apart from this, I have been traveling to all these places which I've seen. Like I have delivered a session as an in person in this specific locations across India. Now that's all about me and what overview of what will be there in the session. But basically, what we are going to cover. So that's we will see in agenda. So today's agenda is what? First, we will check what is what is Salesforce as an ecosystem. Then we'll check what is Salesforce as an industry. Post that, we'll see invention design process, a unique name I have given to this particular point. Then what is part to success? Obviously, if you're making or if you're planning to make a career in Salesforce, you are planning for a success, right? From where shall I start? That's a very unique question that everyone have in their mind. I mean, that's a very common question everyone have in their mind. Like, where can I start my career? And the last, the stage will be open for each and every one of you to put your questions. In the meantime, also, if you feel that you can ask a question, please feel free to put in the chat. Ankit will be taking up a question, and we will try to. I'll try to answer it in between or at the end. Cool. Now I have already given you an overview of what you can expect from me from this session. So let's deep dive and see what's next. What do you think? What will be the next? Yeah, you have guessed it correct. Let's see what's there in like, for us in the future, right? So first thing that I mentioned is we are going to talk about understanding the ecosystem of Salesforce. Now, why this slide becomes very important? Because I hope most of the crowd is coming from India or any nearby to Asian countries. What happens is from our childhood, we never understand why we want to do this. For example, till 10th, we knew, this is our education system and we are going to study in this way and that way. But after that, we never knew whether I want to go for, at least in my case, I won't summarize it or won't generalize it, but at least in my case, I never understood, like, I want to go for arts or I want to go for commerce or I want to go for science or anything as such sort. We just follow the crowd. My friends are going to that particular thing, so I'll go. Why I'm going it? Because my friends are going it, and my relatives and the elders in the family, they said this is the career, this is you're going to give you a beautiful career ahead. So with that, we followed that, and I followed the same thing. I went ahead and I followed, became like went to make my career in science. Later, I realized, science is not my cup of tea, but didn't had an option to, drop out of the science. Then why? After that, we went to engineering. I went to engineering, and I started thinking like after second or third year, I realized this is also not something that I want to do. I wanted to do something else, but I landed into this. And after that, luckily or unluckily, I would say luckily in my case, I got into Salesforce and I enjoyed it because there are a lot many reasons. Maybe I'll tell you after some time. But why I'm trying to tell you this? See, here I knew that I never knew that what is my future is or whether am I making the steps that I'm going to take, whether it is correct or not. But you all are at a stage whether you have that understanding. For example, if I take you take you through the boat into an open sea and I'll ask you to jump, okay? Or if I take you to a nearby to a well and I'll ask you to jump, will you jump? The answer is clearly no, right? First you will ask me, hey, is that water very deep? I mean, is that particular place is very deep? Do I know swimming? Third thing, do I have a lifesaver? Like if I'm about to drain a drone, then can anyone save me? And fourth thing, how efficiently can I swim? Right? That is what happened in everyone's life. When if I take you nearby to the danger position, or if I ask you to jump into a water which is very deep, that's what you do. Then why not have this all these questions when you are making or when you are planning to make a career into Salesforce or any other technology. You should have that question. Like you should understand the entire scenario where you are going to place yourself down the line, maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You should make a thorough study, right? So that's the reason I have mentioned here. First point is Salesforce as a platform. What is Salesforce as a platform? What are the different products that Salesforce is offering? Then we will then what is Salesforce App Exchange? What is this Trailblazer community? What is this going to help me out? See, most of us, like many people who are student or who are planning to make a career in Salesforce, they have might seen somewhere this particular diagram. I'm very much sure, right? I hope at least 80% or 90% of the crowd agree with this, right? See, I'm not saying Salesforce is not for you or Salesforce is for you. End of the day, it's your decision. But when we see the entire world following a particular trend, we just fall behind that, right? But is that something for you? We never thought of this. I just saw a question, someone was an Android developer and someone, and then they left a career and now they're planning to make a career in Salesforce. But is that something for you? First, to try to understand what is Salesforce as a platform, right? So let's see. So Salesforce, as everyone have their own definition, my definition of Salesforce is a cloud-based tool. I won't say it's a CRM tool because that's the reason behind this. It's a tool where you can build your own business, not own, you can build your business application, enterprise applications, and all that stuff. Okay. Now we know this is us. This is Salesforce, which is a cloud-based. Many people say Salesforce is a cloud-based CRM. Yes, it was a cloud-based CRM, maybe 10 years down the line. But after that, Salesforce evolved itself in such a way that Salesforce has its own products. See, Salesforce has its own product to cover each of the industries that are available in the market, like sales industry, service industry, retail, finance, non-profit, manufacturing, marketing, healthcare, others, government, or food and beverages. You mention it, and Salesforce is everywhere. You can't say that Salesforce is just at one particular place. CRM is the heart of any other tool or any other business application that you're going to build. You're using Swiggy, it's also using a CRM. Why? What does a CRM mean? CRM simply means that it's a customer relationship management. That's the heart of any other application or technology that you're going to work on. At the end, if you're building an application or you're building any product, what is important is your customers, whether you're going to satisfy your customer or not. So customer relationship management, that means a customer, if he or she is satisfied, he or she is going to refer to someone else, this is a good product, go and you can buy it from here, and that particular customer will make the business grow. Okay, so I never say that Salesforce is a CRM based application. I always say that Salesforce is a cloud based tool. Why? Because CRM is the heart of Salesforce or any other technology. Now we understood that what is Salesforce as a platform on which particular area Salesforce is going to cover, right? So Salesforce as a platform is a cloud-based application or cloud-based tool, and Salesforce as an industry means that Salesforce is also a tool. When I say a tool or a software, it means there is a layer on which the Salesforce was built, right? Now many of you don't, maybe many of you may not know this or don't know this. Salesforce itself is built on a particular platform which is called as force.com. Okay, it's not like your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, which is there, which is right there from the scratch. Salesforce is not from the scratch. It is built on a particular platform, and it is designed in such a way that it can cover multiple industry products that are available. You got me? Now, we understood Salesforce as a platform, Salesforce as an industry. Now, what are the different products available? Now, if I say, uh, I have opened a shop, okay, a grocery store, I have opened it. Now, in my grocery store, what I'll do is I'm just selling out your groceries or necessary things that are available. Tomorrow, I realize that there is a trend in the market, or there is a necessity in my area where people are looking for a shop where they can go and buy clothes. People are looking for a shop where they can buy mobile phones and so on. Now, this shop, I have turned it into a mall. Okay, like you might be aware of D Mart or Reliance Mart, all this thing. where in a single particular place you can find all the necessities that you want, right? In the same way, Salesforce, when it came into picture, it was just a CRM. Then it realized, I have to cover multiple areas or multiple industries. And then Salesforce started building its own product. Maybe some of its product it built it, some it acquired. Okay. So like for Salesforce, now when you go and you start learning things, sign up for a Salesforce developer org. But did you ever try to understand, when I'm trying to learn this free developer org, which kind of product am I using it? Because none of us try to understand that. We always try to understand, okay, fine, I have to learn this, I have to go and follow this module. I will have, first I'll go for admin certification, then this certification, then I'll go for XY number of interviews, and after that I will gain XY number of package. But why am I doing it? That's the main question, right? So here Salesforce understood why it want to cover the different industry that are available, because there for them there was a scope for growth from their own point of view as a business, and also from the product point of view. That question should also be there in your mind. So here, first Salesforce started, the free developer org that you have is nothing but the Sales Cloud. Okay. Then Salesforce understood, instead of this also we have to take care of our customers. When I say customer, that means the companies who are going to use this particular product for selling out their the products that they have, they bought. They Salesforce built a sales cloud. Then the companies who were building their product using Salesforce, they said, I want to take care of my customers also, build something for that. Then Salesforce built Service Cloud. Then other companies who were using the product of Salesforce, they said, hey, other than this, I want to make sure, for marketing purpose, can you build any product which I can market my own particular product that I'm building? Salesforce says, yes, I can do that. Then Marketing Cloud came up. After that, so Commerce Cloud, so on and so forth. And now Salesforce has n number of products. Fine. Now, apart from this, what is the next important thing that we need to know? So now we understood what is Salesforce as an industry, what is Salesforce as a product. After that, I was talking about the Trailblazer community, right? So I will keep that on hold, because first I want to tell you, for the most important thing, you have already decided to step your first baby steps into Salesforce as a developer. Now, I never talked about admin, business analyst, consultant, or anything. You have already decided that you want to be a developer. If you have decided to be a developer, what are the steps that I should take to be a good developer? I won't say the best developer, I would say good developer. So that's the reason I have mentioned this particular slide: invention, design, process. Okay. Now, first, you have to understand. Now, you understood the Salesforce as a product, Salesforce as an industry. Now, you have to understand the Salesforce architecture. When I say understanding the Salesforce architecture, that means if you are going to become a developer, what are the ladders that you have to follow to be a good developer? At least from building the things for a client to delivering the best possible product for them. That is called as Salesforce architecture. First thing, if you want to be a good developer, I always say that be a good admin. That's what I always mention to Ankit as well. Don't focus on being a good coder, because Salesforce itself says, if you refer Salesforce documentation, Salesforce itself says, if you want to follow the best practices that a Salesforce developer should think before building up a product, they should be good at analyzing the things. Second thing, they should be good at using the drag and drop functionalities that are available. Many people disagree with this, saying that I can code. I'm a Java developer. I in my school days or in my college days, I just did a lot of coding, so I just want to do a coding. Man, why you want to do coding? If I am saying, if it saving my the drag and drop tools that are available, if that is saving my effort, if that is going to do my work faster, then why you need to do coding? So does it mean as a developer I don't need to code? No, I didn't say that. I said 90% of the thing, if that can be done using drag and drop, then why you need to code? If something is not possible, then you do go ahead and code. So as a developer, you should be good at using your analytical skills. Second thing, you should be good at using the drag and drop features are available. That is, drag and drop means administrators things. It can be creating a formula field, understanding the profiles and information set, or creating a flows, or approval process, or any other stuff of that. And if anything is not possible through all this, then ultimately you'll have to go and code it. Okay. Now to code anything in Salesforce, Salesforce has its own language, which is very much, I can say, almost approximately 85 to 90% similar to a language called as Java. Okay. So if I before I talk about Apex programming language, first let's see what are the two paths that we have to follow to be a good developer. First path, if you see this diagram or this design or drawing is very much helpful. This is called I called it as configuration. That means achieving every functionality that you want to build in Salesforce by using the configuration that is available. I also called it as non-programming way. So configuration, I called it as non-programming way, and here you do customization. Okay. So here you do customization. That means anything that was not possible through configuration, I went ahead and I customized it to meet the client's requirement. And that's what I called it as programming way. Now I told you that to be a good developer, you should be good at this. And apart from this, then the next step you should be good at this, the customization. Right? Now, before I talk about the customization, what should be a thought process when you are learning any steps in development? The first step whenever you are learning a development is to master the basics of the coding or the programming language that you are doing. This step should come after you have mastered this skill, the configuration path. If you have mastered this configuration path, then you should come to customization, because again in Salesforce customization is very vast. Okay. First thing, you should be very good with your Apex. Now as I said, Apex is a 90% very much similar to Java. Okay. Now as a student, first I will talk about the students, then for the working professional. As a student, I would request you, if you are in your third year, okay, or if you are in your second year, don't make a decision to come into Salesforce directly. Many of them make this mistake because nowadays in the Trailblazer community, many people just want to become famous by giving false hope to the students. Many companies, many training institutes will come and say, in Salesforce ecosystem, there is 9.2 million jobs. Come, make your career, earn X number of money, and that's all, right? But that's not the reality. I'm not defaming Salesforce. I'm saying if you're a student, if you're into second or third year, first master the basic skills. That means you should understand the basics of programming. When I say the basics of programming, means what is variable, what is for loop, what is if else block, how this particular language is talking to me. Now I'm talking to me in I'm talking to you in English. Why? Because you understood that language. If I go ahead and tell you, hey, go ahead and learn French. To learn French or to understand the French, you have to understand the alphabets which is there in French language. Or if you want to learn English, you will have to understand the alphabets, right? So Salesforce, before learning to the Salesforce, if you are in your second or third year, first learn that communication language, that is your variables. What is variables? What are collections? What is uh, what is for loop? If else? This all things you should know. But let's suppose anyhow you have decided to make a career in Salesforce. Then what? So if you have decided, always remember, if you are a student, never make this decision if you are in second or your third year, first semester. If you're in your third year, second semester, or if you're in final year, then you can, if you have not done any study, you don't come from a technical background, when I say coding background, then you can try to make a career in Salesforce. Because Salesforce is a part which is coming from the existing, coding programming languages that are available. So if you are in a third year, third year, second semester, or for final year, then you can make your decision to learn Salesforce. And here, don't fall into the trap any training institute of any person who is saying you can learn Salesforce within 2 months, 3 months. No. If you want to really be a master in your basics of configuration and customization, you should give yourself at least 6 months. 2 months, at least 2 to 2.5 months for admin, and rest of the time for your customization that we call as development path. You should start with Apex. Again, if I have not done any coding, like me, I don't come from a coding background. I come from a electronics and telecommunication background. If you're like me, okay, then if you're fortunate enough, like you're directly into a job where you don't know anything and you get a job. So there, first to start with Apex, you understand basics like what is variable, what is a if-else block, how this for loop works, how this enhanced for loop works, what are these collections, and at the end, if you're good at this, then you go for SOCL, SOSL, and triggers. This should be your roadmap for being a developer, and this you should complete within 1.5 months. Next half month or next what do you say, 15 days or 20 days should be a practice of whatever you have learned, thorough practice. When I say thorough practice means within this 1 month you should understand the concept very well, and next 1 month or 1 month 15 days should be working on the scenarios. Because when you sit for the interviews, and if you get an interviewer like me, I would never ask you, what is trigger, what is trigger dot is after and trigger dot is new. I will never ask this. I would give you a scenario. I would directly say, can you write a trigger for me, can you write a sockle for me? Because that's the way I will understand how much your basics are clear. Because what we have done till our engineering, or if we come from BSc BCom background, till that time we have just mugged up the things, we have done the theoretical part, but we never tried to understand what's the practical implementation of it. Tomorrow if I go ahead and if I tell you, and that's the same mistake which many of the fresher does, if I tell you, hey, go ahead and write a trigger, okay, or if you're coming from any other background to Salesforce, if I say, hey, write a trigger, no one, I have never seen any fresher asking me, hey, why shall I write this trigger? Why? What is the business requirement? Because that thought process we never had in our mind, and you have to develop that thought process first. You should understand, why am I doing this? Why only trigger? Why not flow? Why not formula field? Why not validation rule? Why not approval process? Why not only a batch? Why not a batch class? Why not any asynchronous programming? If you get answer to all this, well and good. If you don't get this, go and ask your mentor or a lead who has given you this task. And now, if you after this, you'll definitely get an answer. And if after this also, if you don't get an answer, then you need to revise the things that you have studied. Okay, and then you should approach the solution, because building a solution is not a big deal. Approaching the solution is a big deal. Okay, so here you first master the skills of Apex basics, then the triggers, then asynchronous programming. This should be done within, if you ask me fairly, within 2 months. After completing this configuration, so configuration will take 2 months. 2 months I will give only for Apex. Within that time period, 1.5 months, as I said, complete your Apex learning. Then 15 days, or if you're not, self learning, or you're going slow, then go, take a project. If you don't find a project, come to me. I have projects. I have already shared some projects with Ankit. I'll definitely give you some projects for practice. Okay, because that's how you learn. That's how you build up a solution, and you understand the approach for building up a solution. Okay, you'll build a project that will help you to add to your portfolio. Okay, after that you follow the next path. That means Apex is a backend language. So I won't go ahead and talk about MVC architecture and all that, but I'll just give you an overview. When I say MVC, that is model, view, and controller. Right now, I have built a backend part, that is whatever this is coming on my UI, that I know very well how this is coming. But behind the scene, there might be some logic that has been written. To show that logic on the UI, you will have to build a UI. Right now, you can build a UI. Earlier, it was not available. Now it is available to build a UI using drag and drop functionalities, maybe screen flow or page layout. But apart from this, if you want to build a totally customized UI, then you will have to master the skills of LWC, that is Lightning Web Component, which combines HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, so you have to learn these skills, and then Many people talk about integration and all that. I won't say you need to know very in-depth knowledge. You should have for LWC or integration. You should know the basics, very basics. When I say as a fresher, what I expect, I say I should expect that you should know very good. You should be good with your asynchronous programming, triggers, and basics of Apex. And along with this, you should know basics knowledge of how you could declare a variable in LWC. What is shadow dom? Even if you don't know shadow dom, it's fine. How you make a communication, parent to child to parent communication, and what is the life cycle hooks. This much if you know in LWC, that's fine. Integration, I expect you to know, what you should, what is REST API, what is SOAP API, how will you differentiate among that? What are some of the methods if you know? That's it. That's the minimum requirement or the maximum requirement, I would better later say, for a developer as a fresher or someone who's coming from any other background to make a career in Salesforce. After this, if you are making a career in programming way, that if you are making a career in developer, then what would be the ladders that I will be climbing to become a successful developer? So first, when you make a baby steps, the first step is that you become a force.com developer. That means we call it as associate developer or junior developer. After some 2 years down the line, or 4 years down the line, I would better say, you become a senior developer. And after gaining an experience of 5 to 6 years, when you come to my level, then you become a tech lead. So what is senior developer? Better knowledge than what a fresher have. And a tech lead means he have a good thing, a good knowledge of the things and on how it can be done through either through coding or non-coding way. And he is going to lead a team of maybe 4 people, 5 people, not more than that. That's what I won't suggest. But yeah, that's what a tech lead does. Apart from that, there are a lot many stuffs that technique does, but I'll just talk about in the way that you understand. Once you are good with this, when you once you perform this, after 8 years or 10 years down the line, you become something called as technical architect. Sometimes I also put this particular role under programming way, because I have come across a situation where my manager never understood what I'm trying to say. Because most of the managers, again, nothing to I'm not blaming any person here who is already a manager. I'm just saying that if you're a project manager, you should understand what a developer is trying to say. At least you should have bits and pieces of what this particular technology does. So that's the reason I have put a manager, project manager under programming. Now you know this very well, you understood this very well. After this, the most important question, hey Aman, I understood from where why I'm going to make a career in Salesforce. I understood the depth of my knowledge to make a career in Salesforce. Now you tell me where shall I start, right? So again, there is lot many free platforms that are available, and there is an official platform that is available which says Journey to Salesforce. So Journey to Salesforce is specifically designed for the students and for the professionals who are coming from any other technology or non-technical background to Salesforce. There are certain modules that you need to complete, and then there are some initiatives that are taken by Salesforce to get you a job. Okay, but if you follow me, I would say I'm not a kind of a person who likes to read and implement it. I'm a kind of person who likes to visualize the things, who like to see how this thing has been built. So for that, there are some good YouTube channels. Obviously, everyone has their own way to talk about the YouTube channels, and I'm not here to promote any YouTube channel. But some of the YouTube channels which are genuinely helping people. There are two YouTube channels that I would say which I found it very helpful. One is Epic Hours, and the second one is Math Schools. So these two YouTube channels are really good. And apart from this, even Ankit is taking a lot of efforts, and I've really found his content very helpful. I think his YouTube channel name is SalesforceBigThumb. So even his channel is helping it out. So these three YouTube channels can be best for you to learn as well as implement whatever you are learning. Apart from these two particular links that I have mentioned. Now you knew very well what should my goal to make a career in a Salesforce, into a Salesforce. As a student, you understood, and if you are a working professional, the same thing applies to you. Consider yourself that you are in final year of your engineering or final year of your degree. Give yourself 6 months, because don't be in a hurry. Please don't leave your jobs. I have seen people who are leaving job just to make a full-time study plan for Salesforce. No, please don't do that, because trust me, the job market is not at all good, and not even like, it's not especially good for Salesforce. Everyone is facing, going through, some or the other kind of recession. So a humble request: don't quit your job and just to prepare for Salesforce. Make a time like 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, if not 1 hour a day, and sit on weekends for 2 to 4 hours. Make your timetable in such a way that you be a consistent for that. And I'll talk about that. So if you're coming from non-technical background or from any other background which is not related to Salesforce, make yourself think like you are into your final years. Give yourself 6 months, analyze it, develop the skills that you don't have, and then what's next? So the next important thing before I talk about the certification is the tips and tricks of success. Why? The first step that you see here is, I've always said, continuous learning and skill development. In anything that you do, whether you are learning, whether you are mastering any kind of skills, not related to Salesforce, but anything, consistency is the key. I totally agree that as a human being, we are bound to happen that, uh, we will someday we will work a lot and someday we won't work at all. And some few days we will be like, okay, I'll just do little bit. I would request, like, in your life, one thing that should always be there is make a small short goals. Don't jump, down the line that this is my 6 months goal. Because if I make a 6 months goal, it will be there in that particular piece of paper in the diary. Yes, your end goal should be developer, but don't give yourself, 2 months time or 3 months time. Make short goals like, hey, for next one week I am going to do this, and for the next 2 weeks I'm going to learn basics of Apex and collections. This should be your goal. And along with that, just put a note, wherever you are sitting, a place where you find, like, every day you look at that place. Put that sticky note and check yourself. You add 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. At the fifth day, you will feel guilty checking, seeing that in that sticky note, nothing is marked as completed. Fact, this is the fact, because I always do with myself. I go to the sticky notes, I make the things, and your things, like, see, your planning. I'm not a motivational speaker or someone, but your plan should be something like, it should not allow you to sleep until you complete it. That should be your plan. That should be the consistency. And it doesn't comes up. It's not like I'll tell you and you'll do it. It doesn't comes up so easily. So make short goals, like next down the line 2 weeks, I'm going to do this, and see that happiness once you do that, because that is how you'll get consistent. First, you will find out, okay, this is a short goal, I have completed it. Then you will analyze, okay, I can complete collections. Now I can add some more goals, and this is how you will build it up. So continuous learning and skill development is the first trick or tip. Second is networking within the Salesforce community. If you remember, 10 to 15 minutes back, I was talking about this Trailblazer community, right? See, what is Trailblazer community and what is community? Basically, a community means where you find like-minded people, right? When I say like-minded people, you might have heard this idiom saying that birds of same feather flock together. You always like to be surrounded with the people who think like you. That's what this Trailblazer community is. That's what a community is. Here, if you are learning something, okay, and if you don't find yourself, mastering that skill, come to this Trailblazer community. Here there are people like you who are struggling, and there are people like you who have struggled it, mastered that skill, and now they're guiding it. Me, Ankit, or any other person are part of this Trailblazer community. Go and network with them. See, at the end of the day, what you will do, you will put a request on LinkedIn or any other platform, 100 of people. Out of those 100 of people, you should analyze who is that 1% or 5% who is going to help you genuinely. Because that's what I have mentioned in my last point, seeking mentorship and guidance. Because there will be many people who will say, hey, you do this particular links, you do follow this YouTube channels, go and do certification, because certification is very important. But at the end of the day, there should be a person who should guide you in each and every of the step, stating that don't focus on certification, focus on your learning. Okay, so I would better say have a good mentor who can guide you in each and every step on how you could follow that. Second thing that fourth thing that I should talk about is building a personal brand and portfolio. When you network with like-minded people by going to the Trailblazer community events and by going to Dreamin events, okay, when you network with them, try to gain that knowledge which they have. Along with them, look at them how they are building their brand or how they are building their portfolio, and what you can build in what you can inculcate from that. Because at the end of the day, no one will come and give you a job based on what you have mentioned in your resume. They will give you a job based on your presence that you're making within the ecosystem. How you will make that present? You should be very much active on the LinkedIn. That doesn't mean you should spend 4 to 5 hours of the day on the LinkedIn. 30 minutes, 1 hour every day. Like suppose give yourself 30 days challenge. Hey, 30 days I'm going to master this SOQL skill. SOQL and SOSL. That is query. I'll master this query skill. Announce it publicly. You know that when you give yourself a challenge, you are not going to do it. Announce it publicly. Give it to the people. Tell the people here, I'm going to do this for 30 days. 30 days. Let me tell you that within 30 days, there will be one person or 5 person who will keep looking at your post. And on the day, if you don't miss it, and if there is someone from your friend circle who is, helping it out, and at least your mentor who is helping you out in mastering that skill, he will come and say, my mentor always come and say, you gave yourself 30 days challenge and you gave up within 7 days. And that guilt is the worst one. So give yourself this challenge, announce to the world publicly, I'm going to do this, and बोलते हैं ना, sorry for being in Hindi, the entire world will help you to do this. So that's what happens. After this, I don't like to talk about it, but that's the part of a developer's life. So yes, certification is mandatory. No. Is that important? Yes. It's important because that gives a proof that you have that skill. So which certification should I my target if I want to be a developer? See, if you are coming as a fresher, I would say target for either associate or an admin certification. And if you're coming from a non-technical background or from a coding background, let's say you're coming from Java, Android developer, .NET developer, any other developer, then learning this development skill might not be very much hard for you. And since you have, let's say, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 12 years experience, then you should follow for this three certification. But for a fresher, I would always suggest go for this two certification. When I say fresher, that means someone who is just a college pass out. Never ever I would suggest a college pass out to go for PD1 certification. After this, at the end, I would say live by an example. People like to relate themselves by looking at what they have seen in the ecosystem. If I say, why you want to be a cricketer? They say, I follow my idol Sachin Tendulkar or MS Dhoni, and I want to be like him, right? That should be in the technology or in the ecosystem that you're learning. Live by an example. Like again, I'll give an example. Like few people, like Sainikit Narela. This person, he was working in, and he is working in Wipro. He was working as a support engineer. That means he was just handling the support kind of things. He was not in Salesforce, but there was a zeal to learn. He was always there stating that, I want to be like he calls me Anna, I just want to learn the Salesforce. I want to master this skill. Trust me, it took him 1 year, 1.5 year to make his career in Salesforce. Within Wipro, he learned that skill, he mastered that skill, he forced his project manager to, he have the skill, he showcased his skills through various ways, and then now he is working as a developer within Wipro itself. Next, many people say that, apart from what do you say, technical uh, drawbacks that I have physical challenge. I can't give better example than this Muhammad Umar Azmi. Why? This guy, if you see him properly, he have some physical challenge, but that didn't stop him. Apart from this, he was working as a digital marketing executive. But this guy is now working in Salesforce as a sales cloud engineer. If these two guys can do that, then why not you? Why not person who already have some technical skills? The third one, Now people will say these are okay, they're already a working professional. What about students? I have a better example for student also. Salim Sheikh, this person, if you ever read his story, he have struggled a lot to make complete his engineering, but with a proper mentorship and guidance, now he is working in TCS as an associate Salesforce developer. And for people who are an aspiring developer who want to make a career in Salesforce as a developer, and he or she is a student, then I don't have better example than Ankit himself. I have been observing Ankit from last 2 years, though we met in person last year, but I have been observing him. He takes so much of mentorship and guidance for each and every step. Each and every step he asks me or anyone he follows. Like there are two or three mentors. He always goes and asks, what I have found common in all these four people is they always came to me and they asked me one question. How can I improve myself? And the day you have this question in your mind is the day you are going, the day you can think that you are going the right path. I have seen this four people. I'm not saying these are the only four people, but these are four people I have seen personally from my end that they are doing really good because they had that zeal or to do better than what they're doing. So I think, yeah, that's it from my end. And that's a wrap. Now I'm leaving the stage onto you to ask me anything that you want to, that you have a question in your mind related to making a career in Salesforce as a developer. Ankit, do we have questions?
Yeah, we have one. It is one by Deepak Shukla. He is asking how to master flow.
Okay, great question. What his name is Deepak. So to the master the skills of flow, let me stop sharing the screen. See, Flow is basically when it was bought, maybe Flow was already there. So Flow was called as Visual Flow. People was not aware of it because people were trying to learn workflow and process builder, but Flow was already there. Now Flow became famous because Salesforce bought some enhancement in Flow. Okay, now if your question is how shall I learn or how shall I target to become a Flownetic, right? The first thing is when Salesforce what it initially brought, it was an admin tool, but it's no longer a developer tool. If you want to master the skill of Flow, first thing you should master the skill of basics of Apex programming. That means you should know uh, what is socle, how can I use the socle. After that, you should know what is if else block, what is for loop, and after that you should know how am I going to use all this within my flow. Why? Because if you don't know these basic skills, flow is not a tool for you. Because now whatever you can do with your Apex programming or through a little bit of LWC or integration, whatever you want to do, you can easily do with your flow. So I would suggest go and master the basics of Apex programming, first thing. Second thing, try to take up, like if you are a good developer, if you know triggers very well, take out that scenario and try to achieve it through flows. And the third thing is taking out some sample projects from in the form of super batches. So whatever super batches are there for each and every flow resources, that means for screen flow, the resources, flow resources that are available for each and everything, Salesforce has designed a super batch. Go and do it. You will understand from how to build up the small things. And apart from that, uh, I'm I'm like that's already in progress. I'm planning up to come up with more flow scenarios. You will find it in some more days. Again, that will be available on Panther School's YouTube channel, so that you can follow. I
Okay.
hope that answered your question.
So next question is by Ravi Kumar. He's saying, Aman sir, where we can practice Apex.
Yeah, okay, that's a good question, Ravi. So first thing, if you want to practice Apex, that means you are saying that you want to practice everything. So if you want to practice Apex programming, first learn the things, and second thing is search for the super batches, because there are very few in the market who's going to give you some free projects. If you get a free project from someone, well and good, try to implement that project. Okay. And third thing is find a good mentor who can give you some good scenarios to practice it, because there are multiple blogs already available who have, many people have written a blogs, but there you will find a solution. I would better suggest go for some of the some of the website where the blogs have already written, or go to chat gpt, just put a question, give me sample scenario based questions on triggers, only get questions, try to solve it, give it a try. If you don't get the solution, try to find somewhere similar solution through the YouTube channel. Multiple YouTube channels or blogs are there. Put that question and somewhere nearby solution you will go to get it. Don't go directly on chat gpt. Get the solution, nearby solution, try to implement it on your own, something similar to that. And if that doesn't work out, then you go and ask chat gpt. So that should be your approach. But end of the day, you should focus on, once you master that basics, then you should focus on say, super batches and some projects. Time and again I'm repeating this thing, but that's important.
Sure. And next question is by Anmol Chawla. He's asking how to approach someone to be your mentor.
Ankit, would you like to take this question yourself?
Yes. So, Anmol, I would answer it like you first go to LinkedIn, create a profile, and just look for the people who are active in the community and who are actually sharing knowledge. And then you can just go and approach them that, yes, hi, I have seen your work. Can you just guide me? Can you give me some of your time? So that would definitely help. I have tried it myself multiple times and it definitely works.
Yes, that's a very good point Ankit has mentioned. You know, he mentioned that point, search for people who are sharing their knowledge, because there are many people within the ecosystem or on LinkedIn who will make a bluff of the things that are there. Don't fall in that trap. See, there are possibilities you get fall into that trap. Change your mentor. Okay. And still, if you're not able to find a proper mentor, keep going on. I won't say I'm a good mentor or Ankit is a good mentor. You can change your mentor. Down the line, 5 years back, I had a girl as a mentor. She is not no longer there. Then I found Amit Singh. He is helping me out. After 10 years down the line, someone else will be my mentor. So with that timeline, your mentors will change. Okay, no problem in that. But keep a specific mentor for a consistent time period until unless they want to leave you. Okay, so that should be your goal.
Okay. Uh, that was interesting until unless they want to leave you.
Yeah.
So next question is by Atul Kumar. He's saying, what are the future opportunity for freshers in Salesforce?
Okay. If you want me to give, I'll give you two answers. One, which everyone is telling in the market, there is 9.2 million jobs. Out of that, 2.3 million jobs are only for Indians. That is the answer which is given by market. If you want a honest answer from me, I would say that the job market is good. Similarly, like other all other technologies like that are available, like Java, .NET, and everything. Salesforce is not going to give you hefty amount of package. Don't think like that. The market is good, you will get a job, but for that, whatever scenario was there 5 years back, like if you have just no only variable declaration and basics, that still you were getting job, because at that time demand was high and supply was less, like more number of developers were needed, but people were not there who knew skills. Now the demand is high and supply is also high. That now the balance is like this. This is demand, this is supply. Now they are at the same place. Now what you have to do to be a good to get a grab a good package. For this, you'll have to master the skill. The people 5 years down the line, people who were having 1 or 2 years experience, they were having that skill. Now, as a beginner, you should have that skill. Like if you go to find a job for as a Java developer, they will expect you to know uh, basics like if else block, class, what is object, what is oops concept, what is method overloading, what is method overriding. This all you should know if you want to become a Salesforce developer as well. So the job market is still good. Okay, even in this recession also there are openings now. The openings have started coming up for the freshers as well. So I can tell you in one short line that you are into the right place. Just focus on your skill.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Atul. And next question we have is, what is the growing demand for Salesforce jobs in India?
I showed you what is the growing demand. I showed you that graph. Okay. I won't talk anything different than that. The growth is always there. It's just that you follow the right path.
Yes, definitely. Next question is by Vallabh. He's asking, in J2S, we have to complete super badge of flow before moving to Trail Mix 4. What should we do? And when do we return to flows after learning Apex?
Great question. So J2S, I'll park it for a minute. But when you ask me a question, when do we return to flows after learning Apex? See, you learn flows. You learn flow when I say that you should learn. Basically, if you want to learn flows right from the scratch to master that skill, you learn it once you are good with your Apex programming. Once you are good with understanding what are valuable declaration, what is collection, what is this trigger, how this trigger is working it out, and how can I apply this trigger. Okay, once you are good with this, once you are good with your SOQL and SOSL, then you go and then you come back to flows. Or I would rather say, once you complete entire Apex programming, then you come to flows. Why? Because when you complete Apex programming, you know how to play with if else block, which in flow we have something called as decision element. You know how to play with for loop or enhanced for loop, which in Salesforce flows we have something called as your loop element. Then we have in Apex something called as SOQL or SOSL, and for the same we have in flow, which is called as your get records element. So I would say once you master the skills of Apex programming, then you come back and learn flows. But if you're confident enough, if you feel that I will understand drag and drop, through drag and drop I'll understand what your flow is trying to say, you can learn first flow and then you can learn Apex programming. But an ideal solution from my end would be to first learn Apex programming and then go for flow. Then I think you have answered. In J2S, we have to complete super batch of flow before moving to trail mix 4. What should we do? Keep it aside. I mean, if they are asking to complete a super batch of flow to move to trail mix 4, at least you know now what is there in trail mix 4. Complete that. In trail mix 4, I know very well that it talks all about your LWC, right? Ankit, please correct me if I missed something. So it's all about your LWC skills.
Yes, the
So
first badge is on Apex only. It starts from the very basics of Apex and .NET.
yes. So before that, once you come to in LWC in your super batch 4, there is 4A and 4B. Before going to that, you have already mastered the skills which were there in 1, 2, 3 super batches. That means you have already know your Apex admin stuffs, and then you are going to flows. So they have designed it in such a way only. First learn Apex, master that skills, then come to flow, complete that, and then you come to super batch 4, where you are learning LWC 4A and 4B.
And
Any other
next question.
question?
Yeah, I have one. Okay, there's one more from Anmol. So far, I've understood the order to prepare for Salesforce admin is Salesforce developer is admin, then Apex, then asynchronous, flows, LWC. Please confirm or correct me if I'm wrong.
You are going at the right path, Anmol. This is the way you should follow. Absolutely correct.
Okay, I have one more question. This is my personal. So
Sure.
when I started learning Apex, I found it somehow difficult. Even I had
Mm-hmm.
done C++ in class 11, 12. So I had
Mm-hmm.
the basics of programming. I knew data structures. But when I started Apex, so in Apex, there is something called, so this is Apex. And of course, with this, there is Visual Force also.
Mm-hmm.
And in Visual Force, we use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript all together. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
when I started, it was like Java, HTML, CSS, JavaScript all together. So it
Mm-hmm.
was extremely difficult for me to like start it. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe
Yeah.
everyone faced it somehow. So I want to know about more about this. How can we do this? So should we do HTML, CSS, JavaScript first? Like we should know the basics of it, or we can just start with the normal course.
That's a really a good question that you have asked me, and thanks that you asked me. See, when I started my career in Salesforce, I think 5 years down the line, even I even didn't know what is this HTML, CSS. Like I heard about these terms or fancy words, I can say. But when I started working, I start my first requirement was something to get to fetch the records and show it on the Visual Force page. Even I got confused. What is all this? Because in Visual Force page, your HTML, CSS, JavaScript are combined inside one single part only. You don't have something called as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? And even your whenever you're calling your Apex class, you have to call it inside that only,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So that's a very big problem, and even Salesforce understood that problem. Then they came up with Aura component, and after that came up with LWC. Now the major question where like I should have basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, or JavaScript to learn Apex or to make my career into Apex. If I take my example, I would say no. The reason is quite simple, because when you learn Apex, I consider that you don't know anything. Okay, so if you don't know anything, it's fine. I mean, if you don't know any programming language, but if you're coming from any other programming language like C++ or Java, you should focus on Apex rather than focusing on LWC or HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Why? The reason is simple. Apex is very much similar to any object-oriented programming language like C++ or Java. So for people who are coming from this particular languages or .NET, they will find it easy. Now, once you start learning LWC, you will find that LWC, that is Lightning Web Component, have their own libraries. That is built on something which was already there. And here you are not going to use everything that is there in HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, because HTML, CSS, JavaScript itself is very vast. But to master that skill of LWC, you don't need to know everything. So if you want to learn LWC, I won't say you need to know HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Basics of what is this div tag, what is this HTML tags. That is, if you know, it's well and good. If you don't know that, that's also fine, because we are not going to use HTML tags in our LWC. We have something called as template in our LWC. So very basics or very few part of JavaScript we use in LWC. And if you ask me, like there is from JavaScript, what we can inculcate in LWC, we have something called asynchronous programming. Then we have lifecycle hooks. Then we have shadow DOM. These all things are there. If you know these things, well and good. If you don't know, if you're like me, again, directly you learn LWC, and with that you can master the basics of JavaScript. So to
Okay.
learn LWC, you should first master the basics of JavaScript, and you will easily master it once you start learning it, because the curriculum which is designed by Salesforce is designed in such a way.
Okay. Thank you, Bhaiya. And my next question is, what is the significance of Salesforce documentation as a Salesforce developer?
Yes. So this is again a good question. I mean, I think you have given a lot of thought to building up this question, Ankit. Really appreciate that. See, documentation is very important, not only from the point of as a student or as a professional, someone from coming from any other technology to Salesforce, but also if you are into Salesforce. Because if you are working in a project, at the end, after completing the project, you prepare a TDD, that is technical design document, where you mention what was the problem statement, what was your approach to achieve it, and what are the things you used it to build it, right? Now the same thing you can start doing it from your early days. If you're learning something, prepare a document. Now you will say, then what is the use of preparing a document? The most important use is, tomorrow when you're going for an interview, you won't go and read everything which is there in the Salesforce trailhead or everything. You have your own document, you read it, and you are ready for the interview. Second thing of importance of having documentation is, if you really find it very useful, you can create your own blogs or your YouTube channel. So documentation becomes very important. The first thing is, for as a developer, you create your GitHub profile where you put all your whatever projects are there, right? Documentation at the same time becomes important. Now you can't put your learnings onto the GitHub, but at least you can write it on the blog, or if you don't want to share it with anyone, you can create your own notes, and that is going to help you when you are going, not only going as an interviewer, as for an interview as a fresher, but also after 1 year or 2 years when you are going to make a switch. So documentation is important when you are learning, in your learning journey, as well as in your as a working professional journey.
Okay. And my next question is, so as we know, Salesforce is constantly evolving. It has multiple releases throughout the year. So how can one keep up with the updates?
Okay, so there goes a saying as jack of all is good for none. So that means looking at the thing, Salesforce is evolving like anything, and there is always a fear that what we say that FOMO, fear of missing out. Hey, what if I miss this? What if I miss that? Take a pause. You can't be expert in everything. You can be expert in some of the things, right? Now, if you ask me why, how should I cope up or how should I keep myself updated with whatever things are there in the market? You gain a basic knowledge of not everything, at least like the things that you like. Now you are working in a project. Let's say you are working in a project which is using Sales Cloud or Service Cloud. So whenever after every 4 months Salesforce brings out some new features, go and check what are the new features that are there for Sales Cloud or Service Cloud. Okay, try to understand that particular new features, and that's it. Not everyone knows everything. Tomorrow, like today, if you ask me, Aman, do you know, there has been so and so improvement in MuleSoft? I don't know. There is something called MuleSoft Composer, which is very much similar to Flows. Do you know that? No, I don't know. But if you ask me Flows, yes, I know everything. Not everything. Almost all of the things, all of the features that are available in Flow. Why? Because that is something I like, and that is something which is related to my project. So this is how you can keep yourself updated with the things that are in the market.
Sure. And my next question can be a bit controversial. Only I'm telling you beforehand only. So
No
in the
worries.
last session, Amit sir said one thing. He made a bold statement saying Trailhead is shit. And
Mhm,
I understand what he meant by that. He was saying that if a person is just starting out in Salesforce, so Trailhead has more than 2000 badges now.
mhm.
And easily the one who is starting can easily get started that which badge should I do, is it enough, and everything. So I want to know your take on the same.
See, everyone has their own perspective and own point of view. I respect the perspective of what Amit Bhaiya has said, but I won't say that I totally agree with it. The reason is quite simple. See, many people run behind the batches or super batches just to achieve a rank. So in trailer we have Ranger rank, double star Ranger rank, triple star, all star. They run like that. Honestly, from 5 years I am in this ecosystem, and I am just a ranger, and I feel proud of it. Why? Because whenever I go to trailhead, I read it out, I understand the concept, and I apply it. Okay, now to validate your knowledge, you can go ahead and start working on batches or super batches, but don't run behind us trailhead just because you want to showcase that your skills to the, you want to show off to the entire trailblazer community. No one is going to give a damn about that. Okay, you should do trailhead. At the same time, you should know why you are doing trailhead. The reason is because you want to validate your knowledge, you want to understand what is there in the trailhead. So trailhead should be your go, like obviously your go to place. Trailhead should be your go to place, but at the same time it should be for learning purpose, not for show off purpose. So I honestly feel that if Amit Singh has mentioned it, he has mentioned it stating looking at the trends or show off things that are happening in the ecosystem. Okay,
Exactly.
he might have never meant it for the knowledge or learning purpose.
Definitely.
But again, there might be some other perspectives as well. But that's what I feel. Whatever I know him as an individual.
Okay. So my last question is, so as we talk about Salesforce admin and Salesforce developer, we have heard something which says like Salesforce admin has no jobs. Matlab, there are no jobs for Salesforce admin in India.
Mhm.
So the first question which anyone has is, then why am I learning Salesforce admin? Why can't I
Mhm.
just start with Salesforce developer?
Exactly. So, to be honest, as I said in the beginning only, Salesforce market in India is for most of the job openings for developers. But that doesn't mean you cannot make a career as an admin. Obviously, if you're planning to make a career in admin, make yourself ready thinking that if 100 job openings are going to come, 85 job openings will be for only for developers. If you feel that you are going to be in that 15 people who can master that skill in such a way that you can be a good admin. So when I say if you are a good admin, you should be very good with your admin skill. validation rule, formula field, profile permission set, relationship. Along with this, you should know or you should have a very good communication skill. I mean, excellent communication skill. You should be able to put forward what is your thought process. You should be able to understand what the client is trying to say, because an admin going ahead becomes a business analyst or a consultant. Okay, so that's what a company looks into. Do you a person who can be a serious in a client meeting and understand what they're trying to say? Are you a person who understand the requirement in such a way that whenever whatever I'm speaking, you can make a important note of it at the same time? And do you have that skill that you can, I am giving you a problem statement and you can come nearby to a solution using the drag and drop approach? So I would never say that, if you're making a plan to make a career as an admin, there is no job available. The job is less, but the job is already always there. So don't think like I cannot make a career as an admin. But you should be, when you are going to learn admin, you should be at the top notch, not like an ordinary developer. Because a developer can do what admin is doing, but an admin can make the business more easy, which a developer doesn't, which a developer may or may not do. So that should be your thought process.
Okay. One more question, Via. So
Okay.
when I just tell my college friends like I am learning Salesforce, so they may not know the Salesforce as a technology, but they know Salesforce as a company.
Hmm.
So they just always get confused like, are you preparing for Salesforce, the company, or Salesforce technology? So, what is the difference between both of them? If I want to work in the Salesforce company, what should I know? And I know about the Salesforce ecosystem and everything, but can you just focus on the Salesforce as a company?
Okay. So Salesforce as a company have multiple roles. Okay. So one role is called TSE, that is Technical Support Engineer. Now they are the people who help Salesforce partners like Cognizant, TCS, Coca-Cola, McDonald's. They are Salesforce partners. I'm not sure about Coca-Cola or McDonald's, but TCS, Cognizant, or any other company. If they face any issues related to related to Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, or anything, they are the person who come ahead and help them out. They are the technical support engineer. Going ahead, they become support engineer. Then they become swarm lead and all that thing. Now, other roles and responsibilities are SMEs, subject matter experts, or what MTMS, member of technical staff. Okay, so if you are into that one, you are building a product. Okay, if you are planning to go for that particular, that particular role, then you should know, along with Salesforce, you should be very good with your React JS or JavaScript, and other technologies along with Salesforce. Because if you are building a Salesforce product, as I said, Salesforce itself is built on some other platform. If you are going to build up a product for Salesforce, let's say Flow, you are enhancing Flow, right? So you should know, other than what is the capabilities are available in Salesforce, you should also know what other technologies are offering as like other technologies capabilities it has. Okay,
Got it.
so there are multiple roles, and you should, like, if you're going for the support profile, you should be good with your technical skills, like only thing that are there in Salesforce. But if you're going for building up a product, like, MTS, you are going to be a part of MTS team, member of technical staff. If you're going to build up a product, then apart from Salesforce, you should know React.js, AngularJS, and .NET or Java, and all that things.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone?
Let me check. Can you please provide link of Aman sir YouTube channel? Thank you for that appreciation, Anmol. But I don't have my YouTube channel. You will always find me contributing my learnings through Panther Schools. So you can find all my uh, videos on Panther Schools YouTube channel. I have already answered this, Anmol. As a fresher, you should know the basics of Aura. No need. Visual Force. No need. All you should focus on LWC. Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you. you, sir, for the wonderful session. Thank you so much, Vallabh, to acknowledge that you liked it. I appreciate your participation.
I guess we are done with all the questions.
Okay,
Okay,
fine
let's
then.
wrap up.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ankit, and uh, I hope that recording will be available. So yeah, thank you so much once again to Ankit and the Gorakhpur admin team for giving me this opportunity. And feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter. You can just type on LinkedIn to search for Aman Tiwari SFDC, and the first profile will be mine. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Manbhaiya, for taking out your time and sharing this much knowledge with us. It was extremely useful for me personally, and I would like you to be there once every month at least, because I need it personally.
I'll definitely try to do that. Until unless your audience is getting bored of seeing my face, I'll definitely be there to help you out.
Definitely. Okay, thank you everyone for taking out your time, and
Yeah.
thank you so
Okay
much.
then. Bye.
Bye, Via.